Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and today I have an unboxing of these Spellbinders March Club kits, the ones that I get anyhow. And I am really excited because I'm just gonna skip to the one that I'm really excited about first. So I really love the fact that the large die of the month is actually designed to be a pop-up die. So this is really cool because, as you know, well, if you're new, you may not know, but I always do what I call flip the Spellbinders club kits that I get, and that means that I create at least one flat, one layered, one interactive, and one pop-up card. But what's really cool is that this month, the large die of the month actually includes a die set that is designed to be a pop-up. And if you know me and you've seen my videos, you know that I often use things not the way that they were designed to be used. But being that this one is designed to be a pop-up, I will probably use it as a pop-up. And so you've got, this is going to be kind of your back panel. So it's one of those box pop-ups. And these are your two side pieces. So they're going to get attached here and here. And they've got this nice rounded edge. Then it looks like you have, these are your, what I call bridge pieces. It looks like it's scored here, but I'm wondering if that means that they are intending for you to cut these sections down if you want it to be tiered. So for example, this entire height here probably matches, I haven't crafted with this, so I don't know, but just looking at it, that would be my guess, is that this piece, if you don't cut it down, is going to match the full height. And then if you maybe trim off one of these sections, it's going to get you the height here from the bottom to there. And then if you trim off a second section, it's going to give you from the bottom to that piece there. So I think that's what these score lines indicate. And the reason why I like that is that it's efficient use of metal so that they can give us a lot of other stuff. And as well, because when you're doing your bridge pieces, there's nothing to say that you have to have X number of bridge pieces. So you're going to want, if this is your back plate, these are your two sides, you will definitely need one bridge piece that goes across the front. And that's probably this first topmost section here. So you'll need that. But then in terms of what you put in the middle here, maybe you want one, maybe you want two. You know, that's kind of up to you. So I think that there's flexibility there in terms of how full of a pop-up you want. So I like that they've given you the one piece, but then they've made it really easy for you to know how and where to trim that down to fit along the sides. That's my guess. We do get some birthday sentiments, so we have happy birthday. And then you've seen, as I've been flipping back and forth, you see this huge tree here. And I think that's really, really cool. It's a nice large piece. Great for scene building. I feel like it's so big, it would be really good as a statement piece, focal image on its own. And I love that we're getting flowers, leaves, all sorts to really layer on top of the tree. And I feel like it could probably be used year-round, but then I also think that parts of this tree, just looking at it, if I look at the die and what's coming with it, I don't know that it's super realistic because I see flowers in here. Like that's a very tulip shape there. So it would be interesting to see how it all comes together, but certainly, as with anything that I see that's like this, I think you could probably snip a lot of it off if you wanted to make this, like, say a fall tree, and you want to take the flowers off, because I see there's one there. So I don't know how many there are scattered around. That might be something to consider, like how snippable is this? But it could be something like a cherry blossom tree as well, and I think there you would see kind of flowers blooming on the tree. So I guess it's just up to you how you want to layer. But one thing that I really appreciate is that there are a lot of small elements, like a lot of small little florals, a lot of small flowers. And what I really like is that there's one die plate, but it's gonna die cut multiples for you. So here, look at all those little blossoms, flower blossoms, but one die plate. So you run it through the one time and you're gonna get a bunch. Here you've got 4 leaves, you got groupings of 3 flowers, you've got a grouping of like several leaves, flower centers, larger flowers. So I like that there may be a lot of small pieces, but at least it's on a single die plate, so you can just run it through the one time and then get a lot of elements. So that's nice. They've at least made it really convenient to do the die cutting. That's the large die of the month. Then we've got the small die of the month, which is gorgeous. You've got this really lacy kind of mosaic floral design. And in the center here, there's the way this would cut is that this would be kind of solid, where you see these openings. These have outline cut lines, so those elements will drop out. But here, if you look at the inside of the butterfly here, there isn't a solid cut line. So all of this is going to stay intact. So this will be whatever color you're cutting this into. It does have a complete outside cutting edge. So this will be like a layering element that you might put on top of another color behind it to have a different color show through. And it does look like you do get your butterfly wings, the top wings and the bottom wings, as layering elements to stack and add some more color. So imagine cutting this out of one color, backing it with a different color so that, you know, a different color shows through these areas. And then, so this would be, you know, one color. And then these you could even die cut out of maybe a vellum, so that, and maybe only glue it down the center so that there's a little bit of dimension, but you can still see a little bit of the color behind the vellum. That might be an interesting idea I might play with. And you do get the body of the butterfly too. So that's pretty cool. And then besides all of that, there are florals that you can use to, I don't think they necessarily stack, or they're not specific for layering on top of this piece. I think they're just meant to use to complement the floral elements that are part of this design. And so I think that would be really interesting. And of course, you could always cut this a second time, turn it, and then you would get like a framed element with a really neat, I think you'll end up with a really neat shape on the inside for maybe a sentiment or even a focal image. So that is the small die of the month. Then we have the glimmer of the month, which is, look at that. Isn't that pretty? This glimmer plate. It's got this lovely floral design. And the second glimmer plate it's reminiscent of the floral designs that are part of this one. So the motif is the same. This plate here, though, does have an outside coordinating die to cut it out. And here you have this empty area in the center, this oval area, and the glimmered sentiment, so kind of you. So I think that's really wonderful. And then this die is pretty general purpose. It's a nice, like a very small, like a very ditty oval, scalloped oval die. And so I think if you wanted, you could die cut something separate and layer on top or layer on this piece. So a lot of different ways that you can be using it, but this is really pretty. This glimmer design here. It's really intricate, really nice. That is the glimmer of the month. Then we've got the clear stamp and die of the month. There is an option, if you're new to the Spellbinders Club kits, of getting the clear stamp by itself, or you can get the coordinating dies that go with it. And so what's really nice is we've got 2 butterfly designs, and they're really cool. They're very abstract because they have it in their wings. They have floral and foliage as the design. So I think that's pretty cool. And you do get the coordinating die, which will cut them both out. So that single die will cut both. And then you have this die, which will cut this design. And what I wanted to kind of show also was, look how well all of this coordinates, because if you look at this shape, this stamp shape here, it matches the small die. So if you die cut this small die twice and you flipped it around, then you could stamp this in the center. And then there are sentiments that presumably, I haven't checked for certain, but it looks like these sentiments are designed so that they will fit into, this space here. So you've got have the best birthday, the best is yet to come, just a little high from me, and you are so kind. So I think those will fit in here. And if you are getting the clear stamp with and the small die, they're going to coordinate really well. And as well, look at that. I think this butterfly stamp will fit in that space too. So another way to fill, because remember, there isn't an inside cut here. So this is going to be solid cardstock. Whatever you're cutting this out of, that's going to be solid. And it's going to be that color. So you can stamp right into that space with either of these. It may not be a perfect fit, but I think it's designed to fit. Yeah. So these coordinate really well, and that's gonna often be the case with the Spellbinders kits. You're gonna find that some of them go together just so well. And the other cool thing about the clear stamp of the month, just looking at it, is that you have these solid flowers, which when I see that, I think, oh, I can stamp myself a nice little background. But what I think that they've provided these for is a quick and easy way to color up these floral elements here. So these 4 flowers look like they match in shape and size with this stamp here, as well as that butterfly there. So I think these 4 flowers are doing kind of double duty in that they are a quick way to color this stamp and a quick way to color that butterfly. Not everything, but the larger flowers. These over here, these 2 are a little bit of a different shape, and it looks like they coordinate with these 2 here. So, so you've got like some nice solid stamps for an easy way to fill or color in your very abstract butterflies. And if it were me, like, I would just be hand stamping, even if it's like not exactly within the lines. I think that sort of abstractness is gonna match well with the look and feel of the butterfly. So this is really cool. I don't have anything like this, so I like it. I like it a lot, and I like it even better that it coordinates with these. So the small die of the month. So loving that. Then we have, or I get the 3D embossing folder of the month, and This is a relatively new club kit, and it's last year, 2022, they introduced the embossing folder of the month. That's their regular one, and then in 2023, they've introduced as a separate club the 3D folder of the month. So I decided to get the 3D because I got pretty much like a year's worth of last year's 2D designs, and especially now that I have the, I know I keep raving about it, so if I'm repetitive or redundant, I apologize, but I really love the universal plate system that Spellbinders, I have zero regrets getting that, even though really the only thing I use it for is embossing. I don't I don't die cut with it because I have the large platinum machine, and it die cuts beautifully with the standard plates and everything that came with it. And in fact, I use the scrapbook.com magic mat, and it works beautifully with that. But I find that sometimes when I emboss, whether it's 2D, but especially with 3D, sometimes I've had to kind of figure out my own shim, like the combination of extra pieces of cardstock combined with the plate combination that's recommended. But with the universal system, it just works. I just do what they say on the on the base platform, like the exact layers that they tell you to use, and it works beautifully every time. 3D embossing folders, if you are not familiar with them, how they differ from their 2D counterparts is that they, if you think about a 2D, what's happening when you are embossing a panel is, if you feel this, it's raised. There's the design is, you can feel that it's raised. There's some areas that are recessed and some areas that are raised. Where it's raised on this end, it's recessed on this side, so that when you run this through, the paper that's sandwiched in between here, this bottom plastic pushes that paper up into the recess that matches on this side. And that's what gives you that raised effect and texture on your cardstock. With a regular embossing folder, when the design, it's all raised to the same level. So everything comes up to the exact same level, goes back down. So it's either up or down, up or down. There's no in between. With the 3D folders, though, if you feel this, in particular this one, there's roundedness to this plastic. So you can feel that each of these design areas here, the little petals that come out, those are actually curved. They're actually rounded. So when you pass a 3D folder, it's not just that the paper is either at this level or at that level. It could be anywhere in between to give you actual curvature. And that's why it looks a little bit more 3D in the sense that things that are more raised will feel like they're closer to you, whereas things that are closer to the paper, the cardstock, feel a little bit further away. So that's the difference, and I'm really beginning to love 3D embossing folders because you do get so much texture, and I think that can add a lot to a card, and then you don't have to do much else. That's maybe one of the best reasons. And I love the size too. Both the standard and the 3D embossing folders are. You saw how it compared to that sheet of cardstock. So it's basically half a sheet of US letter size. So 5.5 by 8.5. And what I really love is with a pattern like this, where it's non-directional, you can really be picky and choosy about how you want to use this, and you can, if you're embossing a panel for a slimline, you can really get this to line up so that maybe you only get like full diamonds where none of it's cut off. And then if you're working on a smaller card size like USA 2, again, you can be like a little bit more picky, or for convenience, you can emboss, two panels at the exact same time and get like a really efficient embossing by just running half a sheet of paper through and then cutting it in half, and then you've got 2 embossed panels that you can use on your cards. So those are the club kits that I got this month for March 2023. And I'll have a flip video where from these club kits, I will make at least 1 flat, 1 layered, 1 interactive, and 1 pop-up card. And I will link to that video at the end of this one if you'd like to check it out. Thanks, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.